Hi everybody and welcome to this bonus video in Diploma in Photography here with Shaw Academy. You are here with myself, William Eames, your educator on the photography course, and in this short video we're going to have a look at 3 great filter tips for your camera. I do ask a lot of questions about filters throughout the photography course, so hopefully we can demystify those a little bit for you in this video. So the first one I recommend that you have a look at are UV filters. More than likely, if you bought your camera in a camera shop, the sales people have recommended that you get a UV filter with your camera. And a UV filter basically filters out ultraviolet light. As you can see here, they can remove a little bit of haze on your photographs. Nowadays, really, they don't tend to have so much of an effect on our photographs, as they were mainly designed for film, because film reacted badly with UV light, so a UV filter was much more important with film photography. The main reason nowadays to be using a UV filter, however, is to protect your lens. I cannot tell you how many times that when I was working in camera shops, I saw people coming in to me with lenses that they had broken, and if they had been using a UV filter, they would have saved the lens. UV filters are very inexpensive and are a lot more easy to replace than if you're replacing your lens. So I strongly recommend that you do use a UV filter just to protect your lens. The next one that I get asked about all the time are neutral density filters. A neutral density filter will increase the length of time needed for an exposure. How many times have you tried to photograph a scene with a long exposure only for it to come out completely overexposed? A neutral density filter will help darken a scene and increases the amount of time that you need to create the exposure without overexposing the shot. You can get them in a couple of varieties. I would recommend going with a variable neutral density filter if you can afford it, of course. And these would allow you to change the amount of stops of darkness that you can use within the scene. And they will take an overexposed shot like this, where you're trying to capture the running water, and allow you to get the correct exposure. There is also graduated neutral density filters as well. These are very similar to regular neutral density filters, except that they do not restrict light across the whole scene. What they do is they restrict light at the top of the scene, and the amount that it restricts gets further as it goes less down. As you can see here, it starts off quite dark at the top and then gradually falls away to be clear at the bottom. And we would use a graduated filter for overexposed skies, particularly in landscape photography, like in this scene here, where we have brought the detail back in the sky by adding a graduated neutral density filter. If you are new to filters and you're really interested in trying out neutral density filters, as they are very, very fun, you could check out a system like this here, like the Koken system. As we know, filters can be screwed onto the front of your lens, and most screw-on filters will allow you to stack them as well, so you can build up the filters. But you can try out the Koken system like this here as well, or indeed the Lee system too. You have your adapter ring, you have your filter holder, and you can apply different filters in. You can swap them in and out very, very quickly. So a very, very useful system to get into, and a lot more affordable if you're beginning to get into this type of photography. So I recommend that as a good starting place. And finally then, polarizing filters. Polarizing filters react to bright sunlight to darken a photograph and add more contrast, usually to the sky, but they can also serve to reduce reflections of water or other reflective surfaces as well. They are most effective in bright sunlight. Now, how they work is a little bit complex, so don't really have time to go into the deep technicalities of them here, but suffice to say that when you have them on your lens, you must rotate them to change the light, and you will see as you're looking through it, areas of the photograph getting darker or brighter. They're very, very good for adding a little bit more depth into your skies. As you can see here, the image here on the right is where we've taken a photograph with the polarizing filter applied, and you can see the difference there in the deep blue of the sky. And you can use them to reduce the reflections on reflective surfaces, like here on this image on the right again, where you can see that we can actually see through to the bottom of this trough here in Stephen's Green in Dublin, where we cannot see it in the other one. So polarizing filter, another good one to have in your bag. In terms of brands, because I'm sure you're wondering what to have a look at in terms of brands, I recommend that you have a look at Koken, Lee. I also recommend you have a look at Hoya, Hoya, Tiffen, Tiffen. And if you've got a little bit more money, it's well worth looking at B and W filters as well. So thank you very, very much for joining me for this brief lesson. I hope you're a little bit more informed about filters. And I'll see you back here for your next lesson with Shaw Academy. Bye bye.